1350 AM, The Ticket.
Prater The Ballgame on Sports Talk. Appreciate you guys. 208-424-9300. Our video segment. You can watch us on our forms of social media, our YouTube channel. Some cool stuff there. We're talking Boise State football. We're talking NFL football, Prater. We're giving away an opportunity to qualify for Boise State football season tickets this hour.
Nice.
So, some good stuff. We learned about fish today. We learned about pi just now, the mathematical constant.
Did you say pi?
Yes, 3.14867, whatever it is. You know what pi is at all?
Cherry or blueberry?
Yeah, totally. What is your favorite kind of pie? Do you have one?
Cherry. Are you kidding me?
You're a cherry pie guy.
I'm a cherry pie guy. Absolutely.
I'm a pumpkin pie guy.
Yeah, and maybe October.
Okay.
One piece in October, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But you would eat pumpkin pie on a regular basis year round?
I don't. No. I don't eat much pie at all, JP. But if I was going to order a pie, pumpkin pie. I'm more of a cake guy. I like cheesecake.
I like cheesecake as long as it's not thick. Like that brick crap. I need creamy cheesecake.
Yeah,
not thick,
creamy's
bricky.
way better. I mean, you don't want to have to chew hard on the cheesecake.
It's too much work.
Like you got to suck on it a little bit, moisten it up, and then you can chew it. Yeah. No, thank you. 208-424-9300. Pie or cake, Prater? This is something that, I don't know if this is cough medicine to a 5-year-old that, Prater, you're going to open them up and make them take right now, but you have several reasons and you have an explanation as to why Boise State on the next round we're hearing of possible conference realignment discussions. There was an article on Sports Illustrated, SI.com a couple days ago, and they mentioned a bunch of schools, Prater. Weird, oddly enough, they didn't even float Boise State and don't forget about Boise State. No mention.
Yeah, and that's the typical status operandi these days in terms of these conference realignment stories. It is a bit frustrating, but I understand. I mean, let's not kid ourselves around here. And I'm not going to be hyperbole guy. I'm not going to be negative guy. I honestly believe that these are facts. And we know that Boise State, football-wise, is not anywhere near as relevant as it was 8 to 10 plus years ago. And that's tough. I opened up the show by talking about you have to figure out a way to stand out in a very competitive, in a crazy world of money and greed and all the nonsense that's going on in college football. And Boise State has done a nice job with its football program, but it's not standing out. And you can blame whoever you want there. This lack of success could be rosters, coaching, recruiting, resources, management, Mountain West, whatever you want. Group of 5, transfer portal, name, image, and likeness. Check all those boxes. But Boise State does not stand out. Boise State, historically wise, still has the marketing of the blue, the Kellen Moore, the Chris Peterson, the Fiesta Bowls, all that stuff. Nobody's taking it away. But it's a what have you done for me lately business. And what has Boise State done for the national college football scene in the last 8 to 12 years? That's a small part of it. But after that, to me, it becomes, it's not personal. That's what we talked about at the top of this show. It's business. And Boise is the most isolated city in America. That's going to hurt all the time. Yes, I know what your response is. But when Boise State football's on TV, they get good numbers. Mm-hmm. But they don't get great numbers. And it's not massive amounts of numbers. They'll get a couple million people. And that's nice, but they'll also play, another opponent at 2:00 on a Saturday and get 185,000 viewers. So it's not steady. There has to be a lot of components in place in terms of like the time slot, the channel. Playing BYU on ESPN on Saturday night is going to get Boise State 2 million viewers, but they have to have help doing that now. So it's not the greatest. It's not the powerful message. It's not the powerful medium that it was in the past when Kellen Moore and Chris Peterson were doing their things. The geography stinks. The business stinks. The corporate part stinks. The name, image, and likeness part around here stinks. The business transaction doesn't stink. There's not a lot of growth around here in terms of what Boise State's done away from, in terms of football. The season ticket sales have gone down. It's hard to get 33,000 people in there. They've been saying that for 20 years. They're not pushing 35. They're not pushing 38. They're not pushing 40. Where's the growth in this football program over the last 20 years? Where's the growth?
Why isn't the program growing maybe at the rate that the town is too?
Exactly, because people aren't investing money. People are coming here with different interests. Boise State probably hasn't done enough to attract those kinds of interests. I mean, Boise State is still averaging the same amount of fans that it did 20 years ago when there was 200,000 less people in this market.
Those aren't, give or take 1,700, whatever the hell it is.
We all know the massive growth around here, and Boise State has not been able. I'm not saying for lack of trying, and God knows that Jeremiah Dickey's done a great job of trying to catch up. So this isn't really an indictment on the last 2 years. I'll go back to the column I wrote 4 or 5 months ago for the Idaho Press. And from 2011 to 2018 or 19, Boise State did very, very, very little to capitalize on the popularity of Kellen Moore and Chris Peterson and Fiesta Bowl championships. The administration here was shaking hands, smiling, hanging out, being popular, but not making a difference. And I think that those 8 years of lost opportunity are the biggest reasons why Boise State's not being mentioned. Real quick, though, why Colorado State's being mentioned in all these stories, and they always have been for 20 years. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You guys know how I feel about Colorado State. They're not a sleeping giant. They're a dying pansy or whatever the hell you want to call them. I'll leave it at that. So I don't understand the fascination with Colorado State. Fresno State's constantly mentioned because they're in California, because the city council had a dog and pony show and put out a decree naming it Mountain West Moving On Day or whatever the hell they did.
They win too.
And there's no information. And so the national media bites on that information, knowing that, and the president talked, blah, 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 blah. We want to be blah, 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 blah. When was the last time Marlene Trump spoke about realignment? When was the last time Jeremiah Dickey spoke? They kind of have taken the Craig Thompson approach of let everybody do their own thing, and we're just going to continue to do our own thing. And hopefully someday somebody will notice it. And that's kind of, the Mountain West, based on everybody else crumbling around them, is in great shape for the group of five moving forward. And Craig Thompson did very little while the American Athletic Conference crumbled around him. Yeah, I think Boise State's kind of doing the same thing. Just staying loyal, staying status quo, building as best as it can, not worrying about anybody else. And the Fresno States of the world, they're out there patting themselves on the back and marketing themselves, and the media eats that crap up because there's no information, so they take it.
I want to know what Boise State's best pitch would be to a possible Big 12 or Pac-12. 208-424-9300.
How would you answer that?
You can call or text on that. Because I don't know. I was going to ask you first because I have this list of why I think Boise State isn't getting mentioned anymore. And I don't know how much one weighs more than the other because they don't win as much as they did. How much is that really worth, though? Maybe their academics. How much is that really worth? Maybe the politics in the state of Idaho. How much? I mean, I have all these points here. The market size. What is it? The most excluded, decent sized city in the country.
The most isolated big city in America. Yes,
isolated. Yeah, that's just something like if Jeremiah Dickey takes this call or Marlene Trump makes this presentation, why you would move forward with Boise State. I wonder what their massive selling points would be. Do they have any anymore?
They have them, but I'm not sure that they're impactful or powerful. If the if Brett Yormark from the Big 12 calls today and said, "All right, Jeremiah Dickey, give me your pitch."
Yeah. Growing city.
Okay, so we're gonna start with potential.
Yeah. Okay. Dang it, man. Okay.
We're gonna start with potential.
I'm failing this meeting already.
I'm hanging up on you already. The blue turf. Okay, a 40-year marketing gimmick, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm not making billion-dollar decisions based on that. Potential? Okay. I've been listening to, and I'm not beating you up because that's probably the first place I would have started. But my answer would have been, seriously, you're coming at me with potential? How about you put a shovel in the ground and build a $200 million football complex? Oh, we're trying. We have potential.
That's on the list.
We're working on it.
We're trying. We think if you give us an opportunity to go to the Big 12, then that's going to be built a lot stinking quicker because everybody's going to be more excited. We'll have more money coming in and whatnot. And almost like it feels like if I could say, if I'm Jeremiah Dickey, I can say, well, why do you want us? Well, Chris Peterson's our coach. Okay. Look at his record. Like, would the Big 12 or the Pac-12 say, we want Boise State because we want that coach. We want that system. We want that program wearing our patch on their jersey. Maybe that had something to do with it. And obviously, he hasn't had enough time here. Andy Avalos isn't sellable to a Power 5 conference. Like, you need Boise State because you want this staff and that coach and the innovation and everything they're doing. I mean, they don't have that really anymore.
Agreed.
And maybe they did before, if Pete could sell that or not. We got callers who want to get in on this too, Prater.
When Pete and Kellen Moore were here.
Yeah.
There's one word that's not used anywhere near enough, and it should be used more. Brand. The Boise State brand.
It existed. It was big time. It was cool as hell.
And it was powerful.
And it won, and it beat everything in its way. And it was this Cinderella, tiny little program no one had ever heard of with this weird-looking turf, and they just kicked people's ass. They blew people out in historical numbers. I mean, they went through a 10-year period in the WAC where I think the average margin of victory in a league game was over 30 points.
Yes.
I mean, they just smoked the league, and
that's when the brand was beautiful, powerful, and strong. Boise State still has the brand. It's just not as beautiful, powerful, and strong. It doesn't give anything to for Boise State to stand out. Boise State doesn't have a sales pitch to a Power 5 conference, and Boise State is not standing out amongst other group of 5 teams moving forward. That's the biggest issue right now.
So you don't want potential. You want, hey, what have we want now? What have you done for me lately? Don't tell me about potential if you're one of these guys.
100% agree with that.
Eric, welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. Thanks for holding. Let's take a couple calls on this. Eric, go for it, dude.
Okay, so I just listened to you guys while I was on hold. You guys are 100% right. I mean, the brand, my pitch would be from 2000 to 2012, our brand grew more than anybody else's in the country.
Fair.
That's
Agreed.
the potential of the that's the potential of the brand.
Yep.
Now, with the additional resources that come with conference realignment, what could we be?
I think that's very intriguing.
I can't say, look what we've done the last 5 years, because it's almost embarrassing compared to what we were. But that was my thing: is look how much we grew in that amount of time. With those resources, we can do it again, except for it'll be bigger.
I like that.
You guys were saying nobody wants to play Boise State when Boise State's right. Pete Carroll's on record said, Boise State's a fascinating team. I'm not going to play them. Nobody wanted to play Boise State.
Very well said. That's a good call right there, Eric. Appreciate that here on Idaho Sports Talk. Keep the opinions floating in. What would the sales pitch be? I think that's a good little topic as well. And, this is why Boise State, for whatever reason, just isn't getting mentioned a whole lot these days, Prater, when they're talking about what the next step is in college football. We know the Pac is going to do something. Whether it's hopefully keep it intact, adding San Diego State, maybe SMU, maybe a couple other schools. We don't know. Something's going to happen with that league, though. Or, I hate to say this because it's bad for college football, but if Washington and Oregon leave to the Big and the corner schools leave to the Big 12, all of a sudden the Pac-12 has 4 schools, and they can either raid the Mountain West or just dissolve and not do football anymore, which would be sad. And then if Boise State could get in a better version of the Mountain West with Wazoo and Oregon State, that type of thing, that would be a better league than they're currently playing in.
Agreed.
But I don't want to see that for college football because it's going to destroy Western United States college football.
Yeah.
It would. But that would mean right there that BYU, would be the only program out west, like close to us or whatever, playing in a power conference outside of like the LA schools, or Washington and Oregon would be gone too. But outside of that, it's like BYU would be big time in this anyway.
Yeah, way to depress me now, Paul.
Is it fair to blame Kurt Apsey for some of this? We always get the text when we talk about this, like why the opportunity or the window was open more so than maybe it is now.
I struggle with that one.
Because you called him a country clubber in one of your articles. That's record.
And that's fair. And I did. And I would stick by that. And, but he did a lot of good things. I'm not sure that the Stickle Sky Club would exist without Kurt Apsey. That was kind of his baby. And he did a hell of a job raising money. And he did a fantastic job. I think Kurt Apsey did everything he possibly could in a town that really holds on to its resources to maintain the status quo. But I don't think Kurt Apsey did anything with vision and or growth. He talked about it, but I didn't see anything being done about it. And I truly believe he was more interested in being popular and liked than going out there and just getting his fingernails dirty and just being a dirt dog. And I kind of see Jeremiah Dickey being a little bit bad. I feel bad saying that kind of stuff because we all like Kurt. I feel bad that our relationship has gone away. It doesn't exist anymore.
You don't have a relationship with
I
him?
don't. And
He's ghosting you?
well, I mean, we just don't have a lot in common anymore. And I've spent 2 years beating him up, and he went to San Diego and spent 2 years trying to revitalize his career. I believe he's retired now. We're in the transition part of retiring, and wish nothing but the best of a beautiful, beautiful human being. But give me Jeremiah Dickey 10 years ago, and I don't know if Boise State's in this position. The hardest part now moving forward is making sure you hold on to Jeremiah Dickey for 3 to 5 years. You've got to get something done. You're going to lose Jeremiah Dickey sometime in the next 3 to 5 years. If it happens before then, I think Boise State's in big, big trouble. If it happens after then, I guarantee you he's going to get something done. Where Boise State is, I'm not sure. But back to your original question, is it fair to blame Kurt Apsey? Yes, but it's also fair to blame this fan base, this community, where football isn't always a priority, where we're not always giving millions of dollars to the football program because we have other priorities. Football is not a passion in this community. Football events are a passion in this community. Giving money is not a passion to this community, and I certainly understand that. So this community, in terms of that we're not lathering sports fans around here, and I kind of like that. When I say just the frothing at your mouth sports fans, like
you like
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I don't need a bunch of frothing Lincoln, Nebraska sports fans in my community. I don't need my community to be 98% of those kinds of guys. We have great balance in this community, and we have high expectations for the football program. I think we're getting there, but we're not there in terms of growth in the future. Kind of scares me. Ballgame.
Prater in the Ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk, right here on KTIK. The Ticket this Friday, 9 a.m. You're getting your sweet deal from the Bonefish Grill, meaning you give us $25, we give you a $50 gift card at Bonefish. That's Friday, 9 a.m. at KTIK.com.
Ballgame, whether they call us here in the next 10 minutes or they send you a text, I would like, because that last caller kind of inspired me.
Okay.
How would, if the Big 12 or the Pac-12 called you and gave you 5 minutes for your pitch, where would you go? How do you pitch Boise State? What's the first thing you do to pitch Boise State? You're trying to get into a Power 5 conference.
Okay.
Johnny and I are going to take notes. We're going to keep a list.
Okay.
I liked what that last caller said.
How about Steelhead tickets if they sell you on it?
I need something that doesn't make me hang up the phone.
Yeah. If you can call right now and give Prater that couple-minute pitch as to why the Big 12 or the Pac-12 would want Boise State, you are representing Boise State. And if you do well enough, we'll hook you up with Idaho Steelhead playoff tickets this weekend for either Saturday or Sunday, JP. We can make this happen, right? We got a lot of tickets to give away here. Call, make the pitch, and we'll have some fun. It's Prater in the Ballgame, KTIK, The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
In downtown Boise.